ini salah. Stream salah.
Itu apa namanya Pak YouTube ya?
YouTube dari YouTube.
Itu lagi itu kan pilihannya loro lah. Stream nama biasa stream biasa ya.
Di RTNB manual.
Oh manual. Tapi yang tak coba gawe itu yang stream lalu nggak login akun itu.
Itu bahaya. Ya aku tahu bahaya gara-gara itu.
Oh.
Amanah dari stream B.
Gimana? Ya nanti jadi anggota betul. Berhenti. Katakanlah bodoh ya mas. Iya betul.
Live shot. All eyes right now are on that extreme heat. Watch for much. Oh, shoot. Just like that, he drops the mic and takes off.
Okay.
All right. The puzzle anchors back at the studio carry on with the broadcast.
We'll check back soon.
So, what happened?
Oh, shoot.
Minutes later, ABC 7 Chicago reporter Christian Picos returns and explains to the folks at home what went down off camera.
And literally, as we were talking with you guys a few minutes ago, a runner and a cyclist collided on the trail. Big wipeout for the cyclist who went over his handlebars. His helmet actually broke, so we, ran right over to make sure that he was doing okay. Fortunately, he's up and he's moving around. His bike's pretty badly damaged.
Today, viewers are praising the reporter for jumping in action.
Oh, shoot.
Hero, as good as they come, both as a reporter and human. Well done, sir.
Oh, shoot.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Conversation Podcast, the show that helps you improve your English in a natural and enjoyable way. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone listening.
Hey, Mike. How's your day going?
It's been really productive, actually. I spent the morning reviewing some interesting language learning research which is perfect timing because of today's topic.
Oh, that's great. Yes, today we're diving into something that I think many of our listeners struggle with.
Let me guess. Thinking in English?
Exactly. Today's episode is all about how to train your brain to speak in English naturally without constantly translating in your head.
This is such an important topic. I remember when I was learning my
Second language, I used to translate everything word by word in my mind. It was exhausting.
Right? It's mentally draining, and it really slows down your conversation. But here's the good news for everyone listening.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Exactly. There are practical strategies you can use to retrain your brain.
Before we jump in, though, we should mention something to our listeners.
Yes, if you're enjoying this podcast and finding it helpful, please take a moment to like this episode and subscribe to our channel.
Subscribing really helps us reach more English learners like you, and it means we can create more content to support your learning journey.
Also, if you know someone who's learning English, share this episode with them. Learning is always better when you can discuss it with friends.
Absolutely. Okay, Sarah, I'm ready. Let's talk about training our brains.
Perfect. So, Mike, let me ask you this. When you were translating everything in your head, what was the biggest problem you noticed?
The biggest problem. I'd say it was the delay. Someone would ask me a question, and there would be this awkward pause while I was processing.
Right, because your brain was doing double work.
Exactly. First, I had to understand the English, then translate it to my native language, then think of my response in my native language, and then translate it back to English.
That's 4 steps when it should just be 2. Understand and respond.
It's no wonder conversations felt so challenging.
And
It's an emergency on live TV. A reporter suddenly stops in the middle of his live shot.
All eyes right now are on that extreme heat. Watch for.
You never know what to expect watching live TV, and the accidents that occur on air aren't always happy ones. Medical emergencies turn to viral videos when these reporters suffered on camera. In January 2023, CTV reporter Jessica Robb was in the middle of a field segment. Things seemed to be going smoothly until the reporter abruptly paused and tried to gather herself. When she continued, she began immediately stumbling over her words with clear alarm in her eyes, until she ultimately decided to pass the broadcast off to another anchor. When she became unable to continue, she apologized to anchor Nariman Essa.
I'm not feeling very well right now, and I'm about to...
Okay, we'll come back to you.
The exact nature of Robb's episode was not disclosed by CTV, but Robb did make a full recovery. The reporter thanked viewers for their support on X, and the clip... COVID-19 vaccine, which they insisted was responsible for her illness. In her statement, Robb put these users in their place, writing, "My understanding of my own medical background provides a reasonable explanation for what happened. The situation was in no way related to the COVID-19 vaccine." Tulsa, Oklahoma news anchor Julie Chin found herself struggling to read the words on her teleprompter in a particularly ominous manner during a broadcast in 2022. She seemed to recover after a moment, breaking from the teleprompter to apologize and acknowledge something was going on, ultimately tossing the broadcast over to the network's meteorologist. For at least a moment, however, it seemed that Chin might have been having a stroke, and that may have been at least partially true. Posting on Facebook several days after the incident, Chin wrote, "The past few days are still a little bit of a mystery, but my doctors believe I had the beginnings of a stroke live on the air Saturday morning." She shared that even before she was having trouble speaking, she had partially lost vision in one eye, and one of her arms had begun to go numb. In response to these symptoms, her coworkers had called 911, and she was tended to immediately. She took the very public nature of her accident as an opportunity to educate viewers on the warning signs of a stroke. Viewers of CBS Los Angeles station KCAL got a heck of a scare at the very top of a March 2023 broadcast. Anchors Rachel Kim and Nichelle Medina began the broadcast by priming viewers for some good news from meteorologist Elisa Carlson, implying that a few days of sun were on the way. However, their chipper mood went right out the window, and immediately after they handed things off to her, Carlson fainted, dropping to the floor behind her desk without speaking a single word. The program cut to a commercial break, and there was certainly cause for their alarm. 9 years prior, Carlson had become ill on air due to a leaky valve in her heart. Fortunately, this time, the reason for her collapse was relatively benign. It was determined that Carlson had suffered from a vasovagal syncope. This condition is caused by a sudden and drastic drop in blood pressure to an overstimulated vagus nerve, which are some of the most crucial parts of the entire nervous system. After her recovery, she told CBS This Morning that she'd been feeling fine up until moments before the incident, which she chalked up to having consumed a ton of coffee and skipping breakfast. She lamented her decision to ignore how she felt and then keep going. In the same segment, Dr. John LaPook explained, "That's the worst thing you can do. You want to get flat so your heart is at the same level as your head."
Work today is broken. Every day, people juggle so many different tools just to get work done. A simple task turns into a time-consuming mess because work sprawl has scattered the tools and context we rely on. And the trend towards bundling software isn't addressing the root of the problem. The system's broken, and it's wasting our time. 8 years ago, we started ClickUp with a mission to save people time from switching between a bunch of different applications. But we knew the answer wasn't just bundling a bunch of tools together. We needed to rethink how software was built entirely. To solve the root of the problem, we built a single, flexible platform with powerful primitives that can be shared to build multiple first-class products inside of one app. We call this convergence. It's allowed us to deliver products at an extremely high velocity, and now we're tying it all together in a new way. Everything we've built has led to this. Introducing ClickUp 4.0, the first converged AI workspace in the world. It's the future of software. It's not just another bundle of apps. It's a fundamentally...
In 2013, Utah CBS affiliate correspondent Brooke Graham was sent into the mountains to receive some pointers in cross-country skiing from members of the Utah Nordic Alliance. Graham seemed to get just a touch flustered before passing out. Luckily, she recovered quickly.
Okay. Yes.
In a subsequent post on her blog, Graham explained that the fall wasn't a particular surprise, writing, "I am known to faint anytime I am at high altitudes and get too cold." She recalled that while she tried to alert the producer that she wasn't feeling well, the message wasn't relayed in time. By the time she received the cue to start the segment, she already felt the fainting spell coming on, but decided to try to persevere. Looking back at the footage, Graham wrote that she now found it quite funny, saying, "I have laughed many times watching this video, and I do not want anyone to feel bad if they find themselves chuckling as I go down like a tree in the forest." In December 2022, veteran Atlanta Hawks announcer Bob Rathbun was beginning his pregame segment with his co-host, NBA legend Dominique Wilkins, by his side. Rathbun would later tell The Athletic that he hadn't been feeling well that day and had vomited before the broadcast. However, he had worked while under the weather before and wasn't about to bail on the segment. As Wilkins began analyzing the night's matchup, Rathbun began to convulse and was visibly struggling to remain conscious. As the camera cut away, the announcer was treated by medical staff and later whisked to the hospital. He spent 5 days being examined by doctors who would ultimately find nothing serious is wrong. Discussing the event, Rathbun recalled, "I was thinking, I know I'm going to be sick again, but let me just get through this, then I'll go vomit, and the next thing I remember, an EMT guy standing in front of me." Although he graciously thanked fans for their support after the incident, the jovial announcer quickly shot down any talk of retirement, expressing that his love for his job remained. In July 2023, one of soccer's biggest legends, former goalkeeper Shaka Hislop, was on the pitch working as an analyst before a soccer match. As his colleague Dan Thomas was speaking, Hislop appeared to stumble a bit before falling face first into Thomas. The broadcast quickly cut to a commercial. The viewers didn't have to wait too long for an update. At halftime, Thomas addressed the home audience.
It's good news. He's conscious, he's talking. I think he's a little embarrassed about it all. He's apologized profusely.
Hislop later took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to thank his fans